Welcome to Under the Spotlight. Right here on Just Jamaica TV. Thanks to those who have already joined our channel. And we look forward to those who will in the days ahead. As we turn on the spotlight, here is your host, Stafford Perkins.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome. Wow, what a week. All kinds of excitement. And hey, we're here now, and we are going to try to fill in. This is a kind of a strange weekend to do this, but I decided I will do it anyway. This is in Jamaica. Our main focal point of interest is Jamaica, of course. And of course, if it's necessary, we go to Africa. If it's necessary, we look at America, wherever, we are, which I try to bring something to enlighten us on the goings on wherever we are. African people, Black people, Jamaican people in particular. So today, I want to focus on the period. At one point, they were calling it Emancipated because they wanted to lump emancipation and also to lump emancipation and independence and call it emancipation. But somewhere out there, when they came upon this independence thing, because emancipation is celebrated all over the world August 1, and wherever there was slavery, wherever there was the ending of slavery, the term emancipation, when they gave us freedom, they said you're emancipated, from physical slavery. And we have found ourselves at this time in what we call mental slavery. People are African people, Black people who were once chattel slaves have found themselves sometimes, confused, because we have, when the colonial masters were giving us our freedom, they made sure to make it the kind of confusion that would make us not even think, if you're not careful, think ourselves worthy to see ourselves above the rest, are equal, if not as most people don't necessarily want to be above anybody, but just being equal to everybody else. So once we see the massa or anything look like the massa, because it's stuck in our brain that we are inferior to some people, we behave inferior to some people, or we see them as superior to us, and then they will not want to, stand up as equals in this world. And so where we are today, we have gone through, they ended slavery, they gave us emancipation, then we struggle through this period, this very gray area of what they call human suffrage or something like that, where you couldn't even fully vote. And then we moved into independence, 1962. One of the big uprising that came just before independence was the 1938 riots, because people were fighting for their what is rightfully theirs. They were not getting adequate pay. People were getting literally pennies, and when I tell you pennies, they were getting for pay, and they rebelled. And 1938 saw a mass riot. And before that, of course, we had many other riots. We had the rebellion, long, in earlier days. and other rebellions that took place. The people who they call the Maroons, they were like rebelling for literal for a century, for 100 years. They were rebelling until eventually they got their freedom. They signed a treaty, which turned out to be not even the best thing, because they gave the British, allowed the British to stay as long as the British don't mess with them, and they have the, parts of the island, starting where they call the Windward part of the island, which is where Nanny used to rule, and then you go to the Leeward, and the eastern end is Windward, and the western end then is Leeward, and that kind of stuff. So we were in, we came through those periods, and then we came to 1962, and we got independence. But it's a pseudo independence, because they told us that we were independent, but we're not independent. We were never independent. We even saw, we see we're supposed to, we are struggling, and in many other places, even little Barbados has gone past that thing of saying that whether we are, we should be saying that we are a republic. We should be standing on our own. We are literally standing on our own, but they still have this imaginary chain around us, where we can't go too far. We still have to. We're depending on Britain. But Britain said, if you want to come to Britain, you have to get a visa. And if they don't see you as fit for their society, they're not going to let you in. And so we live in this complex, dichotomy kind of state. One, we're supposed to be part of the British Commonwealth. The other side, we're not good enough to be there. If you go into Britain these days, you see other races of people who never struggled for Britain. You see them dominating the British land. The British scenes have been given all there is to be given to people to get them going. But the people from the Caribbean and from Africa who struggled and fought for Britain in I think both world wars, they're the ones who are at the bottom of the ladder, not being given a fair chance. They're being thrown out like garbage now out of England, and everybody is free to come and stay, and we can't stay. So now in Jamaica, now we have our thing, and we're trying to make the best of it now after 62 weeks, is about 65 years, I think we're somewhere around there, 63, 65. And let's see, 2025, 1962, yeah, so it's 63. And we are struggling and telling ourselves that we want to be independent, and we see somewhere in there we have an English master in the place, and he's telling us we're not going to get independent. He's not going to give us independence. We say over his dead body, he will never allow us to get our full independence, which is to break away from Britain and to become a republic. And he's standing in the way, and so we're still struggling through. And here it is now. We're at this point where we're up on an election. And it seems to be coming down to one of those consequential kind of elections, like 1962. Because here it is, one person is standing in the way and said, I'm not letting you pass here to go to that place that you're trying to get to. And on the other hand, we see somebody who's just struggling through getting things done, places blowing up, building up nicely, reach almost at a point of of full employment, which is a big milestone. We see the conversation taking place in Jamaica about people, the conversation about bringing in people, such as the Haitians, to come fill vacant jobs that are already happening. and which are going to happen based on how fast the place is growing. We might have to look out. Well, there are other Caribbean islands out there. We're not sure. They might be doing well themselves. So, but the one place that seems that they're in serious trouble and need some kind of release from the stress that has built up in that place is Haiti. And I'm pretty sure you're going to see people come from all over the place coming in. Already the Chinese are in there, and you see the Indians are in there, and everybody's coming in, and because of this little country named Jamaica with this big name, a little dot with a very big name. And so now we are at this point: emancipation, celebration, independence, celebration. There was a point, as I said before, that brought both of them together in the emancipation and independence, and they call it emancipation. So independence and emancipation, and they give it one name, emancipendence. But there was a wise man in Jamaica named Rex Nettleford, and he looked at it and said, hell no, you can't do that. Emancipation is a very, very serious date in the history, in the milestone or land, the markers as to how we progress as a people, black people all over. And 1st of August is very crucial. We can't mix it up with anything else. We can't wipe it out. We can't push it away. It will be easier to push away Independence Day, and we have become so used to independence now that we're not going to give up that independence celebration for anything. The last milestone we have to go is to get take it to that place we call a republic, where we're not answerable to Britain, because Britain doesn't care a hoot about us, but we think we must give Britain all of this and let them still have us like we're on a chain, and we're saying we want to break this chain, and we're looking forward for it to happen. But the master named Mark Golden said, no, hell no, you're not getting it, because his masters are part of the empire that he belongs to in Britain might have told him, stop them. And some people don't even want to believe that this is possible, what I'm saying, but it's true. And here we are with this emancipation thing. I got a few cuts that I picked out that I would like to, look at. And we're going to start looking at emancipation. As I come back, I will pick up and continue to give my little shtick about what is going on. All right? So let's go to the
video. We will explore some examples of Emancipation Day celebrations in the Caribbean. Many former European colonies in the Caribbean observe Emancipation Day on August 1st or around that date. This is because the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833, which abolished slavery throughout the British Empire, came into force on August 1st, 1834. However, not all enslaved people were freed immediately. Some had to work as apprentices for their former owners for several years before gaining full emancipation. One of the first countries to declare a national holiday to commemorate the abolition of slavery was Trinidad and Tobago, which did so on August 1st, 1985. Emancipation Day in Trinidad and Tobago is marked by religious services, cultural events, street processions, speeches, and shows. Other Caribbean countries that celebrate Emancipation Day on or around August 1st include Jamaica, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, the Bahamas, Barbados, Bermuda, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Suriname, and Turks and Caicos Islands. To celebrate Emancipation Day in Jamaica, let's give thanks to our 7 national heroes who fought for freedom, justice, and self-government for Black people. They are Nanny of the Maroons, leader of the Windward Maroons who resisted the British colonial forces with guerrilla warfare tactics; Samuel Sharp, leader of the 1831 Baptist War slave rebellion that sparked the abolition of slavery in the British Empire; George William Gordon, member of the House of Assembly who advocated for the rights of the poor and oppressed and was executed for his alleged involvement in the Morant Bay Rebellion; Paul Bogle, deacon and leader of the Morant Bay Rebellion that demanded social and economic justice for the former slaves; Marcus Garvey, founder of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and a visionary of Pan-Africanism and Black empowerment; Sir Alexander Bustamante, Chief Minister, Premier, Prime Minister, and founder of the Jamaica Labour Party, who led the country to independence from Britain. Sir Alexander Bustamante, Chief Minister, Premier, Prime Minister, and founder of the Jamaica Labour Party, who led the country to independence from Britain. These heroes have inspired generations of Jamaicans with their courage, sacrifice, and vision. They have left a lasting legacy that we should honor and emulate.
All right. So we started out with that to say, show how we position ourselves in the scheme of things. And of course, let me remove this so that I can get back in there. Yes. So when you look at it and they say that we were enslaved, or our foreparents were in slavery, and they enslaved us, that we were working for free, nothing. Then one day, with they make it sound like it's because somebody started to have a nice feel, warm, fuzzy feel about black people, and they were going to give us our freedom. They came to the realization that if the system, the economic system, because slavery is an economic system where you get labor for free. And because there are three legs of this capitalist system: land, labor, and capital. And they were, if any of these that you can get for free, you're going to get an advantage, over the whoever else is in the business of the producing. So they were getting labor for free, and labor is a massive part of the cost of development of doing business. And so there came a time when the world started to get into what we call industrialization, where the mechanics started to take over the steam engine, where you had the train start being developed, and you had car, motor, was some kind of automobile where steam engine automobile, and people were getting around. They could put machinery in the fields and get more done than the slaves, and so it became an embarrassment to some people. You had people who were pushing. There was a period, especially in England and wherever else there was slavery. People were pushing. I think it was mainly the Baptist people. They were pushing to to bring in what they call emancipation. And of course, Britain gave in, one of the ones that gave in first, and they said, all right, we're going to end slavery. But what they did when they claimed that they ended slavery, they gave the masses, the slave owners, the plantation owners, they gave them an option. They gave them something. They said, hey, guess what we're going to do? We will pay you back. We will pay you back to give the people freedom. No, they decided that we're going to give them. How many of them? I didn't take note of that for this one. I forgot to look it up. How many people owned slaves at the time? But they gave them $200 million. In that time, that to now, it will be $200 billion or more they would have given them to free people. But guess what those wicked slave owners do? Those wicked masters did. They said, yeah, we will agree to it, but guess what? You, Britain, will have to pay us to end this. And that's why Britain gave them $200 million, which in today's money probably minimum $200 billion. And they gladly took it. And yet still they kept us in a period. They said, all right, they looked at Britain and said, we will give them the freedom, but we want 4 more years of what they call apprenticeship. They must work for us for another 4 years, give us the money, and they, on top of that, they have to work for another 4 years before we can free them. And so that is the kind of indignity which we went through, but our foreparents were tired, and they wanted to see freedom. They were looking at the future. They were looking at their children. They said they didn't want their children to come into this thing. So they made that sacrifice for 4 more years. And after they got this emancipation thing came in, and we were freed, what they call full free. And that's what we celebrate today, the ending of slavery. But it didn't mean it ended right there and then. We still had our foreparents still had to go another 4 years before they were allowed to walk, to operate as free people. But what is the worst part of that? When they eventually got their freedom, unlike the massa who was probably given the land on top of it, he was given the land, he was given to have the people in slavery for another 4 years, and then he was given, each of them got a portion of this 200 million. As I said, in those days, that money, bring it in this today's day, would be no less than 200 billion. That's where it would be. And so they got a real, like, fat cats, because they still had their slaves. They still had, because they had to work for 4 more years. They still had their land, and they still got the money. So it made them rich. And that's why these Europeans, these masters, they operated at an advantage over everybody else. The slaves were never given any land. All they could do is when they got in emancipation, and those who could run, they run to the hills. That's why most people end up living in the hills. But the reason why the Maroons lived in the hills, because they had to escape from the flat lands, go up in the hills. And of course, Master did go up in the hills to try to fight them, but they would always beat them because these were some rugged hills. The Blue Mountains and all the other mountains up in Jamaica, these are rugged places, and they couldn't manage it. So they fought for 100 years, and the Maroons, they had all kinds of strategy, especially led by the Queen Nanny of the Maroons, the one who they say ran the whole. She was the overhead of everything. The rest of them actually tricked her and got her to sign a treaty to end the war. But that's for another time. I did do this a couple of years back, but probably again sometime soon. But here it is now that she was confronted by this situation. She signed, and it ended the Maroon War, and they were given permission to stay up in the hills. So their thing is in the hills. The next set of people who escaped, and there was also a period when the Maroons used to throw them back in the thing, because part of the agreement is anybody who escaped from the plantation as of this date, 1838, whatever that date is, they were thrown back, because that was part. They was pushed back, sent back to the white man, because that was part of the deal. So now, let me go to another clip here and see what we can learn.
All meant to instill fear and suppress rebellion. Yet despite the oppressive conditions, they found ways to resist. Through music, dance, religion, and oral traditions, they preserved fragments of their culture and maintained a sense of identity. Listen to Jamaica, a journey through time on the History of the Caribbean's podcast.
All right. So that's another one. Let me move that out. So he's showing you how they maintain in a way their sanity, because they had while you took away their freedoms, they still had their memories. Even though along the way they try to erase your memory. And if they catch you talking your language, or they catch you doing anything that connects to your past, they would really put you through some tough stuff, put you to the sword, for that matter. Punishment, unspeakable and unthinkable punishment were inflicted on these people when they tried to escape. And they had to, submit to the madness, because all they were just trying is hang on to hope, hang on to their lives with the hope that one day this madness will end. And so this is what that little clip talked about, where it says that they maintained their thing. I'll play this again because it's a bit short, so let me play it again.
The reality of enslaved Africans on Jamaican plantations was one of relentless toil and suffering. From dawn to dusk, they worked the fields, planting, tending, and harvesting sugar cane. The process of turning cane into sugar was labor-intensive and dangerous, involving sharp tools and boiling vats of syrup. Punishments for perceived disobedience were swift and severe. Enslaved people faced whippings, mutilations, and executions, all meant to instill fear and suppress rebellion. Yet despite the oppressive conditions, they found ways to resist. Through music, dance, religion, and oral traditions, they preserved fragments of their culture and maintained a sense of identity. Listen to Jamaica, a journey through time on the History of the Caribbean's podcast.
You're right. So let me remove this. So they were, forced into this situation, and where they had no choice. So what you do, you try to make the best of it. And when they were there doing their dances, the dances meant something. Which the bad part of this thing, most of us didn't come from the same geographical area. Some people were coming from the north, some come from the west, some come from the east, some come from the south. Different cultures, different everything. You go to Europe, they're on this European continent, but all of them have their own little ways and own culture, and they don't like mixing. But what they did to us were pushed us together, forced us to be together. So from that time, a lot of hatred, resentment started growing up, developing inside of us for each other, because you were forced to sit close to people who you might not like the way they smell, you might not like the way they eat, care for themselves hygienically, anything. But you were forced to be with those people, stick close to them. Yeah, you may have the same color, but you are different from different cultures. But after a while, a lot of them learned how to get along, and that's what helped them and made a difference. I heard an African guy, he was giving a joke, and he's calling somebody kunumunu. And I said, that's a Jamaican word. I don't know if the young generation know that word or that term. Kunumunu, because when you tell somebody them now they don't have any sense, you call them a kunumunu. And it's the same in Africa. The same term is used there presently, and it means the same thing. So, and there are others, and I heard another African guy, he was talking one day, and he said he knows a lot of the Jamaican words. When we speak the way we speak in Jamaica, and we call it bad this and bad chat and bad. The guy I think it's Nigeria, the guy said these are from a tribe and he knows these words. So a lot of the words are words held over from that time to now. So even though they try to beat it out of us, it remained. And this is why sometimes we wonder, why is it that Jamaicans love Africa like this? It's because we still remember. We still remember. We don't even realize it, but it's because we remember. Your mind remembers. And so it doesn't take us much to feel a part of Africa and to feel, because it is us. They are us and we are them. We are relatives, and many of us brothers and sisters end up in the same space. Mothers, they put mothers and sons together in darkness and force them to bring new life in the earth. Let me put it as mildly as that before I get taken to the wood shelf, the wood whatever thing by the people who own the thing. But that is the kind of madness that we went through as a people, and here we are today, on this day, on this period. Emancipation. Emancipation is a very, very serious day. It's celebrated the same day, August 1, because that is when we got the emancipation, full free, all over the earth. in especially in the what they call the Commonwealth. It's not just a Caribbean alone. You have a Pacific all over. In Canada, funny enough, Canada was part of the thing. There are places in Canada which did not permit slavery. They fought against it, and so these days, a lot of these places these days are celebrated. This Emancipation Days. So it's not just Jamaica, but elsewhere. Let me go to something else.
However, enslaved Africans found ways to resist and preserve their heritage, creating a unique blend of African and Jamaican culture. Throughout the 18th and early 19th centuries, resistance to slavery grew. Enslaved individuals organized revolts, the most notable being the 1831 Baptist War, which was a significant uprising against the plantation system. This rebellion highlighted the desire for freedom and justice among the enslaved population. The movement toward emancipation gained momentum in the 1830s, influenced by abolitionist sentiments in Britain and the tireless efforts of enslaved people themselves. Finally, in 1834, the Slavery Abolition Act was passed, leading to the gradual emancipation of enslaved individuals in Jamaica. By 1838, all enslaved people were declared free. The legacy of slavery continues to impact Jamaican society today. The cultural influences, struggles for rights, and the fight for equality are all rooted in this complex history. Understanding the history of slavery in Jamaica is essential to grasp the island's present and future.
All right. So let me move this one out. So you say for us, we have to understand. Man who understands the situation becomes the master of that situation. We have to understand the situation, where we are, why we do what we do, why we celebrate these days, yes, the celebration part of it, dancing and singing and music, and it's part of it that we, over the last 60 years since we got this so-called independence, pseudo-independence, we have become masters at producing music to the point we are influencing the world with our music. So it is absolutely useful and valuable that we pay attention to these things and appreciate where we are with these things. Before we go any further, I just want to ask that we remember to share this program, subscribe, like, make a comment, because all of this is very important to help it to grow, to help the channel to grow, and for us to spend our time to listen to ourselves and to understand ourselves, because sometimes some of it we don't even bother to, we don't think it is valuable enough, but it is. It is very valuable when we go through what we're going through now. Sending out some. Yeah, so today, and we're going to get to the place, I'm going to come down to a point to say, as the heading of this program said, we are heading into this period where we are going to decide who's going to lead us in this next maybe 50 years, maybe 60 years, maybe 100 years. Who is going to lead us there? Is it the colonialist picnic? Is it a colonialist master picnic? Is it the slave master's child you're going to ask to take you into the promised land? Or is it one of your own that you'll ask to take you to this promised land? And I think we're faced with that right now. On the left side, which they like to position themselves, is the massa. And on the right side is the son of Jamaica, a Jamaican, the offspring of Africans. He's in there. And he's up against the massa. And the big choice is, who are you going to ask you to lead? Who are you going to ask? Are you going to ask Moses are you going to ask Pharaoh? Pharaoh sent his men to pull you back. You know, those who read the Bible. Pharaoh, when the Egyptians, the Hebrews escaped from Egypt, and they were tired of them, and they started deporting them, and they started whipping them, and they started putting them in jail. And then one day, it came to them, somebody, they said God sent Moses to go deliver them, along with Aaron. And when they went for them, when they went to Pharaoh and said, go tell Pharaoh to free my people. And when he tell Pharaoh to free my people, and he refused, all kind of pestilence and crosses and bangarangs hit him. And he reached a point, about 2 times he made an attempt and changed his mind. And this last time he said, I can't take this anymore. Let them go, get them out of here. And when they gone down the road, maybe a day or two, he sent his men to go after them. And some story that they went into the Red Sea and whatever else, and they drowned and this and all that kind of stuff. So here it is now that we are here, and we want to go free. And Pharaoh is saying no. Pharaoh in England is saying no, and they send the governor, the Massa. They sent him there to watch us, to learn our ways. But for some strange reason, he wasn't paying attention, so he never really learned our ways. So when he tries to pretend like he's one of us, there's a commercial that used to come on and the thing here, where you would see this wolf in sheep clothing walking through a hospital because he's trying to get to somebody in the hospital. This one is the same thing, that send him, put him in wolf's clothes, in sheep's clothing, to say he's a good guy. Elect him, make him be your prime minister. We don't know. And he said, you're not going anywhere, and I'm over my dead body. You're not getting your independence, your real independence. Now, why would you want to continue down and tell this man, this wolf, to continue to carry you down to on this journey? Why? Why would you want him to carry on this journey when in truth and in fact he's not one of you? It's not for you. He tell you you're not going anywhere unless him tell you you can go. And I think we are past that. I think we're a little bit past that now. A long way past that. For him to decide how we go. So I just celebrate this independence. Think about what you're doing. I'm going to play this one again because it wasn't very long. So let me go back.
Jamaica's story of slavery began in the early 16th century when European colonizers arrived. Initially, the indigenous Taino people inhabited the island, but their population rapidly declined due to disease and harsh treatment. In the 17th century, the British seized control of Jamaica from the Spanish. To support the lucrative sugar industry, they turned to Africa for labor. Enslaved Africans were forcibly taken from their homes and transported across the Atlantic Ocean under brutal conditions. The transatlantic slave trade became a significant part of Jamaica's economy, with thousands of individuals arriving on the island. Once in Jamaica, enslaved people were subjected to grueling work on sugar plantations. They faced long hours, harsh punishments, and little to no rights. Families were often torn apart, and cultural practices were suppressed. However, enslaved Africans found ways to resist and preserve their heritage, creating a unique blend of African and Jamaican culture. Throughout the 18th and early 19th centuries, resistance to slavery grew. Enslaved individuals organized revolts, the most notable being the 1831 Baptist War, which was a significant uprising against the plantation system. This rebellion highlighted the desire for freedom and justice among the enslaved population. The movement toward emancipation gained momentum in the 1830s, influenced by abolitionist sentiments in Britain and the tireless efforts of enslaved people themselves. Finally, in 1834, the Slavery Abolition Act was passed, leading to the gradual emancipation of enslaved individuals in Jamaica. By 1830, all enslaved people were declared free. The legacy of slavery continues to impact Jamaican society today. The cultural influences, struggles for rights, and the fight for equality are all rooted in this complex history. Understanding the history of slavery in Jamaica is essential to grasp the island's present and future.
All right. So just kind of want to make sure we got that one home to say that when we see ourselves, and we might not, some some people think, that they don't even want to think about it because they don't think it concerns them. They don't think it has anything to do with them. They don't think they can find themselves back in there. Do you know they have a prison system in America? They call it corporate systems. Corporations own these prisons. And people work in those prisons. They're in prison and they're sent to prison for the longest of time for the simplest of reasons. And we see where they have this gentleman, P. Diddy, have him, and he's held that he's found guilty on a charge of involving in prostitution. Now, prostitution is almost legal in America. You have the places where you can go and walk up and down. You have states where it's literally legal. You can go there. There used to be all kinds of prostitution operation all over New York where I lived for a while. But here it is that they have the man, they put some heavy charges on him and he beat the charges. And he's there with the last two and they refuse. Because he's going to get sentenced or something, but who knows, they're trying to get him to send him to one of these corporate prisons to discipline him the way they want to discipline him. Because this is what they used to do to us. They would send you to these places so they can have their way with you. And so we don't know, people sometimes don't want to stop and think about these things and not realizing that they could find themselves right back there. So we have to pay attention to this thing and understand it, that because people are always trying to test us. They're always trying to test us. They're always trying to push us to the limit, push us to the edge, trying to get us to react, trying to get us to do things so it look like they are the ones in control. We have to learn about ourselves so we can protect ourselves against these kinds of, diabolical plots. Let me go to another.
Is a beautiful island nation in the Caribbean with a rich history and culture. However, beneath the surface of its vibrant culture lies a painful past that has affected its people for centuries. Jamaica's history is intertwined with the transatlantic slave trade, which began in the 16th century. European powers, mainly Portugal, Spain, Britain, and France, captured and transported millions of Africans to the Americas to work on sugar, coffee, and tobacco plantations. Jamaica's economy was heavily reliant on the export of sugar, which was produced by enslaved Africans. The brutal treatment of enslaved Africans and the conditions they lived in left an indelible mark on the nation's history. The transatlantic slave trade stripped enslaved Africans of their language, culture, and traditions, leaving them in a state of psychological trauma that has been passed down for generations. The impact of slavery can be seen in the music, dance, and food of Jamaica. Many of these cultural practices were born out of a need for enslaved Africans to express themselves and preserve their traditions. The legacy of slavery can also be seen in Jamaica's political and economic structures, which were built on a foundation of inequality and exploitation. It's important for us to acknowledge the pain and suffering that our ancestors endured, but it's equally important for us to move forward and create a more just and equitable society. We need to recognize the contributions of enslaved Africans to our country and work towards reparations and reconciliation. The story of Jamaica's past is a complex and painful one, but it's also a story of resilience, strength, and hope. By understanding the impact of the transatlantic slave trade on Jamaica's history and culture, we can work towards a brighter future for all. Thanks for watching.
All right, so I'm just continuing to remind us of what this is all about, because as he said, we see the remnants of that tough time or those tough times that our people, our foreparents went through, and it's left us with some serious marks. Some of it is as because of what we went through and how we learned to overcome, and this, because the greatest of the great amongst the reggae musicians didn't come out of a fine home, even though his father and his father's side of the family, that side of his family, they were wealthy people. Because he was born to a black woman, he was rejected. The name Marley is a big name in Jamaica, big, filthy rich people, but they rejected him because they were white people, and even though he was of what we call a high color, light complexion, they didn't accept him because he belonged to the black people. He belonged to the black race. Bob Marley and all the other great names that you hear about, they come through struggle, they come through the fire, they come through the toughest of times. When you hear Bob Marley say, you remember the days when they were sit down in a government yard and George would light the fire and it would be, you'd say, himself, log would burn into the night, they would make him porridge all night so that every man could be fed. Somebody could have something in his belly, go into bed, and you would wait for a cup, a little bowl, maybe a piece of coconut shell or a calabash, where you get your little serving of that porridge. That's how people lived. Tough times because you were black. When you got your freedom, they hated you, and they still hate you to this day. And when I talk, they would make it look like I am the one who is doing, is bringing wrong to somebody. But the truth of the matter, that's what it was. When you get emancipated, you're pushed out there to operate with nothing. Those parents that we had, those grandparents, those ancestors 4 or 5 generations ago, to me, they were miracle workers that they fed us. We didn't go hungry. They learned to get a little invest in a little goat or a little pig or some chickens. And so we would get, if it's not every day of the week, we would get at least one day of the week, a Sunday, that we eat a good meal. And you'd have that chicken in the yard. You'd take that chicken after it's laid out, she has laid out all her eggs, and then she would become nourishment for us in another way. So, so when these people come and they think they can come talk some little funny talk and think that is going to qualify them to be our leaders, it makes no sense. Let me go to this one with him, the main one. Did I capture that? I hope I captured that thing,
And we've costed it out. We're starting with 20,000 families in the country, and we're going to expand it as the economy improves. So, comrade, we have many plans. We have plans for the farmers. We will never get free fertilizer as a gift from our country and rip it off and end up selling it through cronies. We will ensure that the farmers of this country who need help get the help they need. We're going to establish the Agricultural Development Fund to do for agriculture what the tourism funds have done for tourism, so that the people's cooperative
landscape recently. What are some of the biggest development projects happening right now?
I wasn't ready for that.
Well,
yeah,
buckle up, because we're about to take you on a whirlwind tour of the top
pull
10
this one
initiatives
back.
reshaping this Caribbean
Sorry
gem.
about that. I have to go back. I pulled up something and it took over. All right, let me go back.
resources to provide soft loans to our farmers so they can finance the inputs and be productive. We're going to invest in storage facilities. We're going to invest in farm roads. We're going to invest in ensuring that Jamaica is a food producer, not just for our people, but so that we can export as well. Because Michael Manley taught us about self-reliance. Michael Manley taught us about eat what you grow and grow what you eat. And we know that nobody out there in other countries is looking after us. We have to look after ourselves. That's why we're the national party, the people's national party. We're the party of the people, but we're a national party because we're building a nation that must be strong. Comrades, there's work to do. And I'm looking forward to the challenge. And I can assure you that when we form government, it will be a government in which you can be proud. It will be a government in which you can have trust and confidence. It won't be a government that is looking to line its pockets and its friends' pockets with the people's money. The resources of the people must be used for the people. So, comrades, I'm depending on you. We are depending on you to do the work that is required to ensure that we are prepared for the election that is about to come. And on election day, to ensure that each and every person who has ever voted PNB before or has never voted before but wants to see a better Jamaica, and even some laborites who are disgruntled and disgusted by what they're seeing their government do and feel that they need to learn a lesson so they can wheel and maybe even come again one day in the future, who knows.
All right, so I see, let me do this again because I wasn't paying full attention because I kind of got thrown off a little. I'm going to play this one more time. All right, let me do something here and then I'm going to add it.
The cost of transportation, we are going to provide a subsidy to you every week to help you to get your children to school and back. And we've costed it out. We're starting with 20,000 families in the country, and we're going to expand it as the economy improves. So, comrade, we have many plans. We have plans for the farmers. We will never get free fertilizer as a gift from our country and rip it off and end up selling it through cronies. We will ensure that the farmers of this country who need help get the help they need. We're going to establish the Agricultural Development Fund to do for agriculture what the tourism funds have done for tourism, so that the People's Cooperative Banks have adequate resources to provide soft loans to our farmers so they can finance the inputs and be productive. We're going to invest in storage facilities. We're going to invest in farm roads. We're going to invest in ensuring that Jamaica is a food producer, not just for our people, but so that we can export as well. Because Michael Manley taught us about self-reliance. Michael Manley taught us about eat what you grow and grow what you eat. And we know that nobody out there in other countries is looking after us. We have to look after ourselves. That's why we're the national party, the People's National Party. We're the party of the people, but we're a national party because we're building a nation that must be strong. Comrades, there's work to do, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. And I can assure you that when we form government, it will be a government in which you can be proud. It will be a government in which you can have trust and confidence. It won't be a government that is looking to line its pockets and its friends' pockets with the people's money. The resources of the people must be used for the people. So, comrades, I'm depending on you. We are depending on you to do the work that is required to ensure that we are prepared for the election that is about to come. And on election day, to ensure that each and every person who has ever voted PNB before or has never voted before but wants to see a better Jamaica, and even some laborites who are disgruntled and disgusted by what they're seeing their government do and feel that they need to learn a lesson so they can wheel and maybe even come again one day in the future, who knows.
I'm telling you, listen, this guy makes me laugh every time I hear him talking. He goes out and he makes all of these promises. We used to have a song that earlier, they called Promises, Promise and a Full Belly, or they can't full belly. Because he's telling you all of these things. Everything that you have said, all these things are in place already. Ask any one of them government people, or those who are in power now. They can tell you all those things you hear him tell you, his promises he's going to do, he's going to do that. All those things are in place already. But my next step, I'm going to show you between making promises that what you want to do, which, his promises are like way back, somewhere far back down the line. I'm going to show you where Jamaica is right now, where this guy's talking nonsense, because he doesn't know what he's saying. I'm going to go straight to this tape and show you where Jamaica is right now and how it's going. Watch
urban centers and sky-high residential towers to state-of-the-art highway systems and expansive airport renovations, Jamaica is buzzing with development. We'll explore how these projects are not only changing the physical landscape, but also driving economic growth and creating exciting new opportunities. We'll delve into the world of real estate, infrastructure, tourism, and transportation, each holding its unique piece in this intricate puzzle of progression. These initiatives are more than mere construction projects. They're a testament to Jamaica's commitment to growth, development, and a brighter future. Are you ready to journey through the top 10 projects shaping the new face of Jamaica? Let's dive right in. Starting off at number 10, we have the Harbor City Shopping Mall in Montego Bay. This recently completed project is a testament to Jamaica's forward march towards development. With over 300 parking spaces and an expansive area of about 6,000 square feet, the mall is designed to accommodate a large number of visitors and provide ample space for a diverse range of shops. Construction on this impressive structure started in August of 2022 and was completed in February of 2024. The project was carried out at a cost of $10 million, a considerable investment that underscores the value placed on enhancing the shopping and leisure experience for both locals and visitors alike. This recent addition to Montego Bay is just a teaser of the developmental strides Jamaica is making. Moving on to number 9, we have the Morant Bay Urban Center. This impressive project spreads out over a staggering 435,000 square feet. The Morant Bay Urban Center project began its journey in July of 2022 and is currently ongoing. This expansive development is not just a testament to Jamaica's growth, but also a substantial investment in the country's future. The cost of this monumental project, a cool $38.3 million. This significant investment seeks to transform the face of Morant Bay and create a hub of urban activity and growth. With this project, Jamaica is making a clear statement about its commitment to urban development and progress. The Morant Bay Urban Center serves as a beacon of the country's drive towards a brighter, more developed future. This project is a testament to Jamaica's commitment to urban development. At number 8, we have the Avista at Bloomfield Park in Mandeville. This ambitious project is a testament to the growth and development of Jamaica's commercial and residential real estate. With a staggering 6 floors, the Avista hosts 1,165 square feet of residences and a whopping 100,000 square feet of commercial space. This endeavor began in 2018, and after a long journey, it's expected to reach completion this month itself. The Avista at Bloomfield Park is not just a building, it's a testament to Jamaica's architectural might and economic progression. It's a project that has seen an investment of $81 million. This colossal amount reflects the scale, vision, and promise that the Avista brings to Jamaica's landscape. The Avista is more than just a project. It's a symbol of Jamaica's booming real estate sector, heralding a future that's as bright as the Jamaican sun itself. Number 7 on our list is the Harbor View to Yala's Bridge leg of Highway 2000. This impressive stretch of road is a significant part of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, fondly known as SHIP. Spanning a considerable 17.4 kilometers, it's an ambitious venture that stands as a testament to Jamaica's commitment to infrastructure development. The project kicked off in January 2017, and after 7 years of hard work, the highway opened its lanes to the public in February 2024. The cost of this monumental project, a cool $114 million. But this isn't just about a highway. It's about connecting communities, enabling trade, and simplifying commutes. It's about a Jamaica that moves, grows, and thrives, and it's only the beginning. Infrastructure projects like this are opening up new opportunities for Jamaicans. And as we continue to count down Jamaica's largest developmental projects, you'll see more examples of just how progressive our island nation truly is. Next up at number 6, we have the Williamsfield to May Penn leg of Highway 2000. A key part of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, this impressive stretch of highway spans a considerable 23 kilometers. Construction began in the merry month of May back in 2020 and concluded in September 2023. This speedy development of just over 3 years is a testament to Jamaica's commitment to infrastructure improvement. The price tag of this project? A cool $188 million American dollars, a hefty sum that should not be taken lightly. This investment speaks volumes about the government's dedication to facilitating growth and development in the region. And let's not forget the countless hours of traffic this highway has already saved and will continue to save for the Jamaican people. This highway is not just a road, but a pathway to progress. Before we reveal the top 5, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on more content like this. Your support helps us bring you the latest on Jamaica's most ambitious projects, from towering skyscrapers to expansive highways. With every like, subscribe, and notification bell you hit, you're joining us on a journey to explore Jamaica's vibrant development scene. Now, let's continue with the countdown. Entering the top 5, we have the Montego Bay Perimeter Road Project. This is no small undertaking, as the project spans across a generous 14.9 kilometers. A project of this magnitude calls for a significant investment, and this one is no exception, with a budget tallying up to an impressive $274.5 million US dollars. This initiative kicked off in the September of 2023 and is currently ongoing, with a completion date slated for 2028. It's clear that meticulous planning and execution are at the forefront. This ambitious project isn't just about laying down tarmac and putting up signposts. It's about ushering in a new era of efficient transportation and connectivity for Montego Bay. This project is sure to redefine the transportation landscape of Montego Bay. At number 4, we have the expansion and modernization of the Sangster International Airport. This project, with an overall cost exceeding $300 million US dollars, is a testament to Jamaica's commitment to progress and global connectivity. The runway extension, a $70 million venture, was initiated in early 2022 and wrapped up by August of 2023, expanding the length from 2,662 meters to 3,060 meters. In addition to this, a new modern immigration hall, valued at $18 million US dollars, is currently under construction. This impressive development not only reflects the growth and evolution of Jamaica's infrastructure, but also enhances the travel experience for both locals and visitors alike. These improvements will undoubtedly make Sangster International Airport a gateway to the world. Number 3 on our list is the Pinnacle in Reading, Montego Bay. This ambitious project encompasses 4 skyscraper towers, each reaching an impressive 28 floors. The Pinnacle is a testament to Jamaica's vision for continuous growth and development, reaching new heights in architectural innovation. The construction of this grand structure began in January 2024 and is projected to be completed by the year 2027, marking a significant moment in Jamaica's history. The cost of this project is an estimated $350 million US dollars, a substantial investment that underlines the country's commitment to progress and prosperity. With its towering stature and sleek design, the Pinnacle is not just a construction project, it's a symbol of aspiration, a beacon of progress, and a testament to the spirit of Jamaica. The Pinnacle is set to become an iconic part of Jamaica's skyline. Coming in at number 2, we have the Princess Grand Hotel in Green Island, Hanover. This mammoth project is spread across a sprawling 180 acres, with 84 of these acres dedicated solely to the resort. The Princess Grand Hotel project embarked on its journey in April of 2021 and is currently ongoing. Breathe easy though, because the wait is almost over. The resort is slated to open its doors to the public in the summer of 2024. And what's the price tag on this grand venture, you ask? A cool $500 million US dollars. Yes, you heard it right. Such an enormous investment is a testament to the vision and ambition driving Jamaica's development. And the outcome? A luxurious resort that promises to redefine hospitality and offer an unparalleled experience to its guests. This resort is poised to become a crown jewel in Jamaica's tourism industry. And finally, at number 1, we have the Kingston Port Modernization and Expansion. This project is a key component of the Jamaica Logistics Hub Initiative. The expansion of the port has been a strategic response to the Panama Canal extension, which began back in 2008. In April 2015, concession agreements were put into place, and since July 2016, the port has been undergoing extensive renovations. This project is a testament to Jamaica's foresight and adaptability, preparing for global shifts in trade routes and logistics. The sheer magnitude of this project becomes evident when we look at the costs involved. The Kingston Port Modernization and Expansion project comes with a price tag of over $500 million US dollars, a significant investment that underscores the importance of this project to Jamaica's economic growth and development. This project truly represents Jamaica's ambition and drive towards a prosperous future. There you have it.
There you have it. Man said, there you have it. Those are the things that the big, the man, the president losing control. Those are the things that are happening in Jamaica. And this is just 10 out of maybe about 100 things going on. Now tell me now, and this guy come telling you I'm going to give up, have money, he have many plans, he might go want to give away 20,000 families some money. This freeness mentality is what is fostering. More give up some money so the people can take bus to go back on the taxi them bus and well mainly taxis where the man them are rape off the little picnic them. And then all kind of agricultural development. Now the man them have them agricultural thing all set, producing where them producing. This is old time, old school politics. This massa is talking. This when you see those developments, the kind of development that is taking place, you have to wonder if it's Jamaica. But if you go there, you see it's happening. And I'm telling you, that's just 10 things out of the hundreds of things that are going, because you have the other smaller private developers, and not small, they're not even smaller, they're building multi-family units all over the place. So we're going to get stuck with the massa talking old school politics, old time food politics, whenever got us anywhere. Are we going to use what we have? We are strategically positioned in the Caribbean. We are the gateway to North America. People have to come through us, pass us. Any ship will come out of the canal if it's going up into North America, East Coast. That's where they come, right up to there, and head out into other places. So it's a bunch of hogwash. This guy's talking that this is what he's going to do, and I'm plenty things and using his word salad, throwing things against the wall, trying to hopefully that something will stick. We're going past that now. We're going into a bigger ball game than we're used to. So I'm just going to, I think I'm going to pull it down, I know it's holiday. I know most people are out there on the road partying, because today is what? Well, it was Friday was the first, then we had Saturday the second, and tonight being the third. So it was nice to get a nice long weekend of partying. And of course, a lot of us going to take the day tomorrow from work because we're too tired from partying to go to work. So I just want to wish all Jamaicans, wherever you are, whether you're in London, whether in England, because not just England, they celebrate, Jamaicans celebrate when they're in England. Birmingham, Nottingham, London, all over the place. I just want to wish you, people in New York, people in Florida, people in Georgia, people in wherever we are, California. Just want to wish you well, wish you that you had a wonderful Jamaica emancipation, and come, when is it? The 6th, today the 3rd, so Monday the 4th, Tuesday the 5th, Wednesday the 6th is the big independence. So we're rolling right into more fun. I don't know much work anybody's going to get done between now and then, but it's fun. Sea and sun, food. One thing Jamaica is not short of is food. And we can, one thing I want to say before we go, somebody in Jamaica, please start taking the ackee production, start planting these, developing new ackee groves, because we cannot get ackees here no more, because everybody's eating our food now. We have problems getting oxtail. Even Jamaicans can barely afford oxtail anymore. So foreign people them eating oxtail, and when you hear them talk about it, you don't think them talking about them prime cut off steak and things. Jamaican people don't fool on a lot of steak. But they when you hear them talk about oxtail now, and they sort of gone with oxtail, and they gone with because we can't buy it. It's very expensive. And now we can't buy ackee. The ackee has become very expensive. I don't see why we shouldn't expand the production. Start planting ackees. We need it. People are eating, the foreign people are eating our ackees now and enjoying it and loving it. So pull out all stops, and start producing more ackees. And the Jamaican mangoes, we heard we're going to get a lot of Jamaican mangoes. We're not even seeing that. So we need to start paying attention to some of these things that people are missing here. All right, hey, everybody, thank you for joining. For those who stayed around, for hanging around with me with this. I know it's holiday, But I said, I'm still going to produce something, because after when you cool down and you just you're chilling out, you can, yeah, somebody did some work while you are having fun, and I left it for you to watch later. Thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for liking this program, subscribing to the program, make a comment, and whatever else is required, you know, to help the channel to grow. All right, make a comment, subscribe, like, and what else? Anything else that you do to support this. Thank you. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the holiday season in Jamaica. Good night.